Thank you for turning to page 121. Today we're going to take a little trip, just a short trip back in time, 40 years to January 1984, and dragon number 81. This dragon was out 40 years ago this month, and I want to take a look through it as I've done many times before, front and back. We'll go all the way through it and see what kind of goodness we were reading 40 years ago. Also, quick reminder, please subscribe if you haven't already. Let's keep the channel growing. It's growing nicely. I want to keep that going. And also, please take a look at Patreon. I need the help to keep the channel going. So if there's anything you can do to help out, that would be great. That's it. End of commercial. Back to important stuff. Dragon number 81 from January 1984. Today on page 121. Dragon number 81 from January of 84. I always like this cover. It's very well done. The guy being chased on the mammoth by whatever that guy is. I don't remember what kind of monster that is. If anybody knows, please leave me a comment. All of $3 for this guy. We were promised high-level AD&D module, playing with poison, and material spell components. Dragon was a good bargain back in the 80s. $3 for a really high-quality magazine. Our first ad is create your own Ralpartha masterpiece. Send us a self-addressed stamped envelope, and we will send you free monster stats on the monsters listed below. Oh, that's kind of cool. And this is from Ralpartha out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Rollmaster ICE's complete fantasy role-playing game. This was a lots of tables. I remember playing Rollmaster a couple of times and lots of tables. Then we go to the table of contents, the magazine masthead, the what's going on in the magazine itself, and then an editorial from Kim Mullen. And then we have Out on a Limb, letters from the readers to the editor. And some of these were fun because sometimes people would put stuff in their letter that pertained to an article that you had read, so it kind of expand on the article. And continuing the letters, we go to enter the Victory Games world of James Bond 007. Victory Games Incorporated. Playing role-playing in Her Majesty's Secret Service. Now it would be His Majesty's Secret Service out of New York. Taking the Sting Out of Poison. Another view on how to use toxic cocktails by Chris Lanzi. Poisons are tough in D&D. You get a saving throw, you make it or you die is kind of the staple. I've done you make it or you suffer damage. I find that much more interesting. But poisons can be tricky, especially if it's a venom from an animal. That can be a real problem. So this helps take the sting out of it. And then we have an ad for Cities of Harn from Columbia Games out of Blaine, Washington. I had a few Harn items over the years. Never played the game system itself, though. Come on. Okay, there we go. Continuing our poison article, we have ingestive poisons. And then we have insinuative poisons. Those would be ones that absorb through your skin. We have an ad for Nova, the newest fighter in Lost Worlds. Woman in chainmail with sword and shield. I saw the Nova books on the shelf. I never played it. I've had a few comments from viewers that say it was pretty interesting. From Manchester, Connecticut. No, Manchester Con. I'm not sure. I wonder if it's British. Continuing on, a rather long article, and then we go to monster venoms. I remember dabbling with this a little bit, but honestly, poison's never been a huge thing in my game, so I don't remember spending a lot of time on it. Then we go to Witch Hunt, role-playing set in Salem of 1692. And this was for... oh no, it's a rulebook. I thought it was for your computer. Games Plus, your SPI specialists. Games Plus in Mount Prospect, Illinois. These guys are still around. They moved across the street since this publication, but they are still around. Great store. The Complete Strategist, your newest adventure lies on the horizon. Visit any of our fantasy and adventure game headquarters today. Massachusetts, let's see, New York, Massachusetts, Maryland, New Jersey, Florida, Pennsylvania. So all east, and Virginia. And then continuing on, finishing out the poison article, Game Town, everything in adventure games. In San Diego, California. Module Hunt. Dragon Magazine is always looking for a few good modules. It would only be a few months until they launched Dungeon Magazine. I was at the Gen Con where that launched, and I picked up a copy of number 1, long since gone from my collection. Dungeon was an interesting idea. They took modules that they had gathered for all these years, submitted by people, and they published them every month. And then after they went through that, they went ahead and they got new ones in. An interesting idea. There were some good modules in it, but it was never anything that really spoke to me. Available equipment, siege equipment, to extend our H.G. Wells award-winning range of siege equipment. So there you go. And this is all Rapham. For Canadians only, more Ralph Partha Fantasy. Citadel Miniatures for Canadians only. Due to licensing requirements, the range is only for sale in Canada. For Canadians only. Wow, that's, ouch, that hurts. In the Cleft of Queens. This is some fiction by Esther M. Leiper. I don't remember reading this. I'm not a huge fiction reader from Dragon Magazine. I read some. Tarsus, World Beyond the Frontier for Traveler from Game Designers Workshop in Bloomington, Illinois. Great box set. I took a look at it on the channel a couple of years ago. Continuing out our fiction, Earthwood, Kings and Superheroes in a World of Conquest and Sorcery from GSI Games in Miami, Florida. Right on. Any questions about an article? You can write out on a limb. You can write to the editor. Silver Dam by Entertainment Concepts. Would you ever dream of slyly searching for clues of treasure? $5,000 quest tournament. Never entered it. Out of Charlotte, North Carolina. The Forum, a new feature. Observations and opinions from our readers. These were kind of interesting because they were usually better thought out letters to the editor, and you could actually glean some interesting role-playing information from it. New in the Starfleet universe. Task Force Games Commanders SSD Book 2. That's pretty cool. I did play some Starfleet battles. I liked it. The Ecology of the Basilisk, or Basilisk, depending on how you say it, by Ed Greenwood. I always love the Ecology articles. I read these all the time. And then we've got an Ultimate Play-by-Mail Sage, Strategic Advances and Gaming Experiences by Gamer's Guide. The British are coming. Only this time things will be a little bit different. From Games Workshop in Gaithersburg, Maryland. Yes, Games Workshop is very much around. Warhammer guys. They started out as a D&D licensee over in England. Encounter the all-new Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Minis by TSR Hobbies. The only medal for the best armed players. I have to admit, I did not buy many of the TSR Minis. I was not a huge fan of some of the sculpts. I thought Grenadier and Ralpartha were better. They were more to my liking. But I kind of regret I didn't have more of these. Figure feature from Castle Creations, Grenadier Models, Rapham, Dark Horse Designs, Tag Industries, and the text by Kim Eastland and photos by Shibe Studio. I don't think I have any of these guys. Nope, looks like I don't have any. Chariots for Characters, adapting ancient vehicles for AD&D play. We have had chariots from time to time pop up in my game. I've done the occasional desert type campaign, and we've had chariots in that. I did use some information out of this article. Also, the famous Chariot of Sister, a great druid spell. We've had some fun with that spell also. Ralpartha has dragons for all the colors of the spectrum. The Dragon of the Month from Ralph Partha Enterprises. Oh, no, these are not the Dragons of the Month. These are just some dragons. And continuing on the Chariots article, if you're moving, you can tell the Dragon Magazine where you've moved to so they can keep getting it to you, and add for back issues of Dragon Magazine. Continuing on our article for Chariots, and then Play-by-Mail, Strategy and Adventure with Computer Moderated Games, Universe 3, Warlord Play-by-Mail, Schubel & Son, Incorporated. Now you can control the world. Starting soon, the Illuminati will be Play-by-Mail from Steve Jackson. Ku Kulane, 22nd level. Ranger, 12th level illusionist with special bard abilities. This is what would have been part of the old Giants of the Earth. Just a little one-page character profile from Roger Moore. The Ruins of Andril. AD&D Adventure for 48 characters of levels 8 to 11. It took first place in the Module Design Contest, category A3. I remember reading this one, and I remember using a lot of it. I don't think I ever ran the module itself, but again, with the desert stuff that I would use from time to time, this was actually a valuable resource back in 1984. I also like this monument. Just pretty neat. Curated column. I love curated columns. I'll take a look at those on the channel. Those are nasty. So a really long module. I never minded getting a good long module in an issue of Dragon. Take some time to read. I remember taking a day or two to read this guy over. And like I said, I took a lot of the ideas from it. I don't think I ran the module proper, but I did take ideas. Fantasy Games Unlimited. Full page ad for Space Opera, Villains and Vigilantes, Aftermath, Chivalry and Sorcery, and Bushido. I played Space Opera and Villains and Vigilantes. Didn't ever play the others. Living in a Material World. Where and how to scrounge up spell components. Dragonlance is coming from TSR. I remember the questioning about Dragonlance. What is it? And some of the excitement that was building up. And we have Mapmaster Judge Software for $35 out of Anchorage, Alaska. I got to tell you, $35 in 1984 was a lot of money. Continuing on our spell components. I remember reading this article and I used the ideas from it. Thieves Do It in the Shadows from Game Lords for their Thieves Guild series. Continuing on our spell components. Experience the realm of complete fantasy for Bard Games. The Complete Spellcaster, Complete Alchemist, Complete Adventurer. And then we have Role-Play Campaign and Adventure Game Aids for the Companions. Islandia Campaign Series out of Bath, Maine. Riddle of the Ring. I'm not familiar with this one. From Fellowship Games. J.R.R. Tolkien's. These are from the uncopyrighted works of Tolkien, so they didn't have the license. They just took some Tolkien-esque stuff that was in public domain at the time. Interesting. Continuing on, our spell components. Game Masters Hobbies Incorporated out of San Francisco, California. Mach, the First Colony from Alliance Publications out of Betchdorf, Iowa. RuneQuest by Chaosium. RuneQuest was an interesting game. I did encounter it. I think I sat in a game of it. I don't believe I ever played it. I played Dragon Quest. I didn't play RuneQuest. And this is still a very long article on our spell components. Yeah, it's a long article. Have a high adventure this holiday season and save $2 from Dragon Tooth. A little holdover from the holiday season of '83. Dragon Tooth Incorporated out of New York City, New York. And now we finish out the forum, the letters to the editor, as we finish our article on spell components. Now we go to Fantasy Lords by Grenadier, Real Treasures for Your Next Adventure. Some of these dragons are beautiful. I love some of the Fantasy Lord stuff from Grenadier, Springfield, Pennsylvania. Terrifyingly Beautiful, the 1984 Dungeons & Dragons calendar. 64 vibrant original works by Tim Hildebrandt from TSR. Your ship just came in. New fantasy tribe figures from Rel Partha Imports. Off the Shelf. This is a look at some books that were newly available in January of '84. And then a little admonishment to label your letters so they can credit you for having written it. Cast Your Own Fantasy Figures special offer. The Duncan Company out of Calvert, Texas. And Feudal Lords, the original medieval play-by-mail game of economic development, military conquest, and political intrigue from Graph Simulations, St. Clair Shores, Michigan. Get Out of the Medieval Rut by Louis Pulsifer. Pulsifer wrote a lot of stuff. This is just a couple of different ways you can play something like D&D or D&D, Everyday Life in Rome and Anglo-Saxon Times, Everyday Life in Ancient Egypt, Classical Athens, Ancient Rome. Diamond Dice, Master Dice sets from Diamond Dice in Park Ridge, Illinois. Park Ridge, Illinois is not too far from here. You'll need skills of poker, diplomacy, and chess to win at Pentandstar, a fantasy board game of magic and strategy. Superworld, a super-powered role-playing game from Chaosium. Super role-playing games were really big. I believe Marvel's Superheroes game came out in '84. Champions is already going strong. Champions is a very strong game at this time. Gaming Without Heroes. Horror role-playing gets its vigor from its victims. And these are for Call of Cthulhu, Ravenloft, and Brotherhood of the Bolt. Ravenloft. Ah, yes, the legendary module. First module for Ravenloft, where we meet Strahd von Zarovich. And then we continue on to the end of that. Live a Charmed Life, or Charmed Fantasy, rather, from Amulet of Troy, Michigan. Castle Creations, Armed and Armored Classical Heroes, in 2 sets of 6, $6 per set. Don't leave home without them. Guidelines for submitting to the Dragon. They're breaking out Hammer Slammers. Hammer Slammers had a couple of iterations of role-playing. I never played the games. I did read the novels. Pretty interesting. I don't know the mechanics of that one. If you do, please let me know. These are available at a variety of game stores. Bears Hobby Shop in Woodstock, Illinois. Nope. French Hobby Shop, Waukegan, Illinois. Nope. And Games Plus. Yes, I've been there many times. They're still there. The Armory. 1 free dice pouch with every purchase of any 6 Armory Poly dice. Buy 12 dice, get a giant pouch. Holds 144 dice. Dice collecting was always big. My wife was really into dice collecting. My son Adam is into it huge. They both have a tremendous amount of dice. I was always just one that would just get some dice that rolled true that I could use to play. Friends, March 31st of 84, get on it. Armory dice and free pouches available from the following fine hobby game stores. Let's go to Illinois. They just have the one in Waukegan, Pegasus Hobbies. I was never up there. And then Science Fiction Gaming Convention calendar. Hurry up. 1984 is not going to last forever. Book your time at your gaming convention. And then Adventure Under Suns from Fantasy Games Unlimited. An exciting new science fiction role-playing game. And then the Gamer's Guide. Just a bunch of different ads, really, that you can take a look at. I remember reading these over. I never did anything with any of them. Finishing up Out on the Limb from page 4. It's amazing what we've got in store for you. Amazing and fantastic. Some magazines that TSR was publishing at the time. They bought up a couple of intellectual properties and were trying to become a big-time publisher. That didn't work out too well. And then we have the Index of Advertisers. And then Dragon Mirth. I always love Dragon Mirth. These are a lot of fun. And very often we just skip straight to What's New with Phil and Dixie by Phil Foglio. Still love these. I'll still go back, take out a stack of dragons, and just read the What's News. And of course, Wormy. I always liked the Wormy artwork. It's a shame Wormy never saw a conclusion. And then Snarf Quest. Snarf Quest always gave you about 3 pages, which was pretty cool. The Best Again, the 3rd volume in the Best of series. A must for any gamer or collector of Dragon Magazine. The Point of View series, Cantrips, The Alchemist, Dragon articles, and more. I only have the first 2 of these because I had the original Dragons for 3 and 4, and they only did the 4. I'll take a look at 1 and 2 sometime down the line. And then the back cover, The Ultimate Fantasy Adventure continues as ICE unveils Isengard and Northern Gondor for the Middle-earth role-playing game. MERPS, also available at Fellowship of the Ring, a suspenseful 2-player fantasy board game from Iron Crown Enterprises, Charlottesville, Virginia. So there you have it. 40 years ago, I opened up Dragon number 81 and excitedly read through it. It's been a lot of fun going back and look at these dragons. I hope you guys like taking a look at them. And please leave me any comments below or some other stuff you'd want to see related to Dragon. And that's it for today on page 121. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.